Yo, top of the morning, man. Today is November the 20th. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show. We got how many games we got on the board for today? About 7 to 8. I'm gonna go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. We'll get into 5 of them, do a quick recap as we always do, go through a couple of the comments real quick, and then get ready to get up out of here as we always do. Coming off a terrible night, man. I had Boston minus the 4.5. I'm still thinking about Ty Jerome hitting that meaningless floater at the end of the game. That hurt. That hurt a lot. I went crazy yesterday. I don't swear too much on the show. I don't curse too much. I like to be somebody that's in control of their emotions, but I was fucking pissed yesterday. I was a little upset, and my condolences. I apologize if you guys got kids listening to the show this morning, but yeah, that one hurt a lot. I also took Orlando. I had Denver and the Grizzlies under, and Denver offense looked like they were better than if they had Jokic last night. I mean, Memphis couldn't get a stop to save their lives last night. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., they crushed the over last night. And then a small sprinkle on LeBron, triple-double. He couldn't find a rebound if it landed in his lap last night. He finished with 2 rebounds. Should have just played the assist like I talked about yesterday. Up and over 9.5 was minus 135. He finished with 12. Double-double in a win. Should have found some way to get some money with LeBron last night, but I did not. But I digress, man. It's a long season. Losing nights are going to happen. Let's see if we can get back on track today. Just wanted to make sure I got these in order real quick before we get started. It looks like all right, cool. Let's jump into it for today, man. Go through a couple of the comments real quick and see if we can be efficient with our time again. What up, Dropping Down? He says, good morning, Chris and chat. I'm sure there's probably a bounty on Ty Jerome as we speak. Boy, the crazy thing about Ty Jerome, and I'm not going to get into stories mode or whatever, but Ty Jerome went to UVA. And for people who know, you've been watching the show for a while, I'm from the Charlottesville area here in Virginia. And Ty Jerome had a basketball camp over the summer. It felt like right before the season started. It felt like it was 2 weeks ago. And literally 20 minutes up the street. And he has one all the time at UVA with a guy a basketball coach that I know pretty well. I can't wait to ask him about this next year. I cannot wait to ask Ty Jerome about this shot next year. I don't want to talk about it no more, though. What up, Prolific? What up, Justin? A. Darius says, let's get this money. GLB Bets in here. GLB Bets be sharing some hella trends in the chat and systems in the chat, and they be cashing. So shout out to GLB Bets. What's up, Merrill? Good morning. Appreciate you for tapping in. G. Harris says, how mad are people about Boston minus 3.5? So on Sunday we talked about it being minus 2.5. Got to get to the numbers early. We got a little CLV. Hopefully it cashes. We'll see how it goes. I did send out a couple plays to the members. Charles says, shout out Chris in the chat. Let's get some money today. What up, LJ? He says, Chris Paul double-double was great money last night. Yeah, I saw you tweet that out. Added me in there. I think it was, plus 370? LJ crashed a nice little double-double for Chris Paul. Good morning, Tasha. Rajon, good morning to you. What up, Sean? What up, Brian? He says Denver last night playing like an NBA, all NBA team, top of the top. Yeah, it was terrible. What up, 5-star? Let's jump into it for today. There's a lot of people in the chat. Alvin in here, High TV Grits in here, DJ Props in here. Says, good morning, Chris. You wouldn't believe I had Boston minus 3.5 live at the beginning of the fourth quarter. That's my largest bet of the day. Let's bounce back. Yeah, I said in the Discord last night, I said, why don't we just take why didn't we take Boston first half? Whenever Boston plays motivated, they always win the first half. And then it's like they forget how to play basketball in the second half. And that's what we saw last night. The Gardeners Loud says Dalton went off last night, cashed his threes. You always take the opponent 3-pointers. That's probably what I should have took. When we did the show yesterday, I wasn't sure if Rui Hachimura was going to play or not. Dalton Connect had 37 last night, I think. I fell asleep at halftime, but yeah, he went off last night. And Utah actually covered. Glad I didn't lay the double digits with the Lakers. Not something I can't do too often. What up, Prestigious Prodigy? I did see Sean in here as well. All right, let's jump into a ball talk. I feel like I ain't seen you in a while. What's up, ball talk? Hope all is well with you. My guy Mark in here, tapping in with me as always from Texas. I think Dallas is where Mark's from. What up, Mark. And what up for real as well. Let's jump into it for today, man. It's a couple games that I want to talk about. First game up, check out jaXon if you guys haven't. I always talk about it. A lot of great stuff over there. Check it out. Referral code in the description of the video if you guys are interested in checking out jaXon. It'll help you handicap your games, help you with stats, trends, analysis, all that good stuff. All right, let's jump into it for today, man. 76ers and the Grizzlies. This line is on the move as we speak. I see the eye screen lighting up. It's popping up to 3 right now. Opened at 1.5, or at least is what I saw that yesterday while the Memphis game was going on. And try not to get ahead of myself today. So let's go injury report first and foremost. We got on the Philadelphia 76ers side, we got Tyrese Maxey. He's been upgraded to questionable. He's missed the last 6 games with the hamstring injury. So you could potentially get Maxey back. You like to see it. Of course, people probably didn't see it. Kyle Lowry's going to miss at least the next 3 games. Right hip sprain. Kyle Lowry's getting old, so it might take him a little bit longer than that, honestly. And then on the Memphis side, they, of course, will still be without Ja Morant. Marcus Smart didn't play last night. It's going to be interesting to see if he plays today. He was out with an illness yesterday. Zach Edey is also out. We got to remember that yesterday was the first game that he missed, and I think that has something to do with, Memphis not being able to protect the rim. Zach Edey's 7'4" or something like that. So it makes sense that, they struggle a little bit to protect the rim, and the defense wasn't as crisp or wasn't as good as it was the day before. And then on top of that, Vince Williams Jr., I don't know if people saw it. He's not a junior. Vince Williams is a junior, right? Vince Williams rolled his ankle, and I saw him getting helped off the court. I don't think he came back in the game yesterday. And that was in the second quarter, so they could be down even more depth. This is the team that's already kind of depleted, injury bug. For whatever reason, they need stronger mineral water and stronger, source of water or something than Memphis, because this injury report is starting to look like it did last year. You do have Desmond Bane. You still got Jerry Jackson Jr., Brandon Clark, Scottie Pippen Jr., so it's not necessarily, the worst of the worst, but they are going to lose some depth. They are at the rest disadvantage as well. So that's the long, lengthy injury report. Let's jump into the actual game. I hate my money, so I bet the Philadelphia 76ers again. Just FYI, so you guys know. That's what I put my money on. Sent it out last night at minus 130, I think it was, on the money line. Don't ride with me. Don't tail it. Philly is terrible. They're 2-11 straight up, 3-10 against the number. This is the last game of a 3-game road trip for them. They've already lost twice to the Miami Heat and Orlando Magic. For what it's worth, I've only bet Philly in the last game. And that was a great spot. It was a fade spot of Miami. First game back home after a 6-game road trip, second leg of a back-to-back. Philly's offense has been absolutely putrid. They're 7-3 to the under in their last 10 games. A lot of it is their team total staying under. So this total being at 219.5 makes a ton of sense. But Memphis has been playing a little bit faster, and we absolutely don't know exactly how Memphis is going to play. Memphis, second leg of a back-to-back, of course, 3rd game in 4 nights, and it's a 4th game in 6 nights, whereas Philly is a lot more rested, and they should be a lot more motivated, man. This team is 2-11. Memphis had covered 6 straight games going into last night, and they had actually covered 8 of their last 10 before losing outright. So they will be motivated. I mean, I'm pretty sure they left a bad taste in their mouth after beating the Denver Nuggets by 15 points the other day, I think it was, and then you come right back and you come out super flat. Denver covered the trifecta spot last night. They jumped on them early. I think they had a double-digit lead at halftime. And Memphis was laying 3 points yesterday. And then so they will be, I say all that to say that they will be motivated. They did kind of, do a little something late to try to keep the game close, which is another reason why I like Philly, because their starters played, pretty heavy minutes last night. This is a pretty deep team, but I think Edey being out hurts a lot. I think Vince Williams also being out hurts a lot. Not sure if Marcus Smart's going to play. I talked about it yesterday on the show, but then more news came out that Philly did have the team meeting yesterday. This is a spot that I typically don't bet against. You have Tyrese Maxey calling out Embiid for being late to everything. All of this stuff that they supposed to do. Said that Tyrese, it was reported that Maxey said Embiid is late for everything. He wasn't even with the team throughout the day yesterday, and then just magically appeared, before the game started. Didn't go through shoot around anything. So he called him out for that. Said he needed to take more accountability. The players said they needed to be coached harder by Coach Nick Nurse. we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. This team has looked absolutely terrible. Don't put your money on Philly. Just let me lose by myself. I'll lose by myself here. Couple trends, not that they matter because I had a great one on Boston last night, but a couple trends I looked at. I looked at teams that's lost 10 of their last. They've lost 10 of their last 12 games, and all of a sudden they pop up as a road favorite. They're 46-26 straight up, 48-28-2 against the spread, which is 60%. If your win percentage is less than your opponent win percentage, which I mean, Philly has the worst win percentage in the NBA right now. If your win percentage is less than your opponent, and just so happen that you're a road favorite with the rest advantage, 118-64 straight up, that's 65%, 178 against the spread, which is 56%. So I roll Philly again. Like I said, just fade me. Just fade me. Fade me. Please don't play Philadelphia. I want to be on this island by myself. So when the ship goes down, I'll just, I'll go down with the ship by myself, and you guys will be fine. So I'm on Philly today. I think that we see the best game of the season for them. I'm not sure if Maxey comes back, but if he does come back, it can't hurt. This is one of the worst offenses in the NBA, so it won't hurt anything if Maxey comes back, in my opinion. Paul George, Joel Embiid, Caleb Martin, Jared McCain. We'll see how it goes today. That's what I played for today, though. What up, Don Solo? Good morning to you, my brother. James St. Patrick said, Larry, I wasn't playing well anyway. Let's see. What else y'all saying there? Ball Talk says Maxey being back changes things. His energy is unmatched. Space Jam Water, James St. Patrick says, and I agree with that. Oh, man. Let's see. Damien says, I'm riding again, going down with the ship. Oh, man, I thought I was going to be by myself. Justin says Sixers -2, -112 is what he got when he bet it. He says, but I'm 0-3 betting these boys. I'm only 0-1, but we'll see how it goes. David says, I also hate my money. Yeah, I don't know. Just like giving it to the sports books. Desmond Bane will have a better game. His second game back still won't beat the Sixers. Still won't bet the 76ers. So we'll see how it goes, Brian. Mark says, Maxey also called out Embiid. Sixers spot. Best of luck. Edie the Giant won't be eaten. Yeah, I don't think so. Burns says Embiid is a clown. He has clownish ways. He does have some clownish ways. I'm not going to disagree with that. James says Embiid wants to trade. Well, I mean, where he want to get traded to? Like, he got everything besides health, Embiid got it. LJ says Philly road favorite. Hell nah. He on the Grizzlies today. He like the Grizzlies. I can tell it with the exclamation points here. What up, Light Bear? Let's see. Brian says it's never about going against you, Chris. You have the best info. You do a great show. It's just the 76ers, bro. And this is what I was looking for, Brian. I appreciate the respect. Like I said, play what you know. Play what you feel. Memphis coming off a win last night. I like the 76ers more in this spot, but I mean the Sixers gonna win a game eventually, I think. Charles says you're a sick guy, Chris. I'm sick, man. I need all of the Robitussin and ibuprofen and flu shots that you can find, man. I'm a sick guy, but I'm on Philly today. The 2-11 Philadelphia 76ers. Daryl says, I'm with you. Oh, man, people starting to like it. I hope. Please don't take it. Don't take it. I just want to be here by myself. Let me be alone. TC Best says, Crispy Goated. What's good, bro? He says, jumping in late. I was on vacation in Italy for the last week. That sounds great. I need to go to Italy for a vacation. He says, last week and a half, but I'm back now trying to get this money. I'm on the 6.5 for the Rockets. I don't know if you went over it. I'm about to go over that game in a second. What up, Jose? For real says, don't forget NyQuil. NyQuil will put you to sleep, man. I haven't had NyQuil in probably about 10 years. I don't take medicine for real. I'm just playing with you guys. All natural herbs for me. Let's move over to Pacers and Rockets, the game that TC Best just talked about. My guy, Justin. Hey, Justin. Handshake, my brother. we right here together on that 76ers island. It's me, you, about 3 fans from Philly in the stands. They all booing Joel Embiid and the effort, but I think they bring it tonight, man. We'll see how it goes. All right, let's go Pacers and Rockets. Next game up. This line actually was at 5.5 last night when I saw it pop on ESPN Bet. I handicapped the game yesterday before the game started, and to me, this was a rocket spot. I just had one hiccup, and I talked about it yesterday in the chat. And I agree with the move. The money's coming in on the Rockets in this spot. It's up to 6.5. It was at 5.5, 6 yesterday. And the total moved up a little bit as well. This was 230.5. It's up to 231. This is one thing holding me up. So let's jump into it. So injury report, which I think is really important. And a big part of it is, I'll just go with this right here. Well, you know what? I'll hold off on this. I'll come back to this. Let's go injury report. So Miles Turner is listed as questionable. You got Ben Shepherd listed as questionable. You got Andrew Nembhard and Nesmith both listed as out. Those guys have not been playing. So the Indiana Pacers don't have a lot of wing defenders. They like Ben Mathurin is a great offensive player. He's still got to work on a little bit defensively. He's very athletic. I think he got to get a little bit stronger. Not that he's not strong, but he got to get a little bit stronger. When you're without Nembhard and Nesmith, to me, like, it's really hard to bet on the Pacers because we know all they want to do is score. But they're also a pretty good offensive player. Nembhard is a really good offensive player. Nesmith puts a lot of pressure on the rim. So when you're, down those two guys and Ben Shepherd, I want nothing to do with this team. And then, one of the reasons I took Ben Mathurin points up and over in the last game is because I thought Toronto was going to play super fast and Miles Turner was going to be needed. I kind of feel the same way. I think Miles Turner could potentially be out in this game as well. He missed the last game. And I think what was telling for me is that the Indiana Pacers actually went out and signed Moses Brown. I don't know if people remember Moses Brown. He played with the Clippers, I think last season. But that, to me, that tells me that they already don't have a lot of size. They got out rebounded by the Toronto Raptors, like, pretty bad. Gave up 130 points in that last game. I don't think that this is a Pacers spot, in my opinion. The Pacers have actually owned the Houston Rockets as well. So this line coming out at 6.5, well, up to 6.5 is pretty telling to me also. The Pacers have actually won 9 straight games against the Rockets. They've owned the Rockets. So I do think that it should be a little bit of a Houston spot. Like I said, I'm really just not wanting to trust what I'm seeing right now from this Indiana Pacers team. They're coming off that pretty bad loss against the Toronto Raptors. They were laying 3.5 points in that spot, and I think that they're going to be injured. Here was the hiccup for me. On the opposite side, Jalen Green, who's been absolutely money this season, he's averaging 20 points per game, 5 rebounds, almost 3 steals. 3 assists, I'm sorry, and a steal. He's listed as questionable. I think it was an illness, so we'll see how that goes. I think he does mean a lot to this point spread. If he doesn't play, I think Sengun should eat. We know the Pacers have been doing a pretty good job of running teams off the 3-point line over the last year and a half. So I think that they, keep the Rockets off the 3-point line, but the Rockets should be able to dominate, especially if Miles Turner doesn't play. I'm not sure if Moses Brown is even with the team yet, if he's going to play today. All of that may be decided later. I do think that this is a Rockets spot, though. I do think Rockets coming off a 1-point loss. We got to remember that. They were all right. So for Pacers, this is a 3rd game in 4 nights, 4th game in 6 nights as well. They got the Bucks coming up, so potential look ahead spot to the Milwaukee Bucks that they beat last season. And like I said, they're coming off their loss in Toronto. The Rockets are 10-5 straight up and against the spread so far this season. This is a 3rd game in 4 nights and a 4th game in 6 nights for them. And the first game back home off a little 2-game mini road trip, they lost to the Bucks by 1 point. Dame hit that layup. They still end up covering. They've actually covered 5 games in a row. I think this is a Rocket spot. And then there's this. Then there's this. I was going through the beat reporter list yesterday, and this kind of stood out to me. So Caitlin Cooper, you can see if you're looking at the screen, Caitlin Cooper, I think may cover the Indiana Pacers, tweeted out. So Tyrese Maxey has kind of been a different player this season when he gets to sleep in his own bed and doesn't have to fly on a plane. We know that he had that, the back injury that's been plaguing him since before the All-Star break last season. Look at his splits at home versus on the road. At home, he's averaging 21 points per game this season on 46% shooting, 39% from the 3-point line, 79% from the free throw line in 6 games. Look at his road numbers. 12 points per game on 32% shooting, 19% from the 3-point line, and 81% from the 3-point, and for 81% from the free throw line in 7 games. So Jack, who covers the NBA in general, says evidence Evidence like this seems pretty clear that his back, understandably, doesn't respond well to travel in an unfamiliar bed, which is why he looks like his normal all-star self at home and a shell of himself on the road. And I absolutely agree with this. The splits are right there. Like, this isn't an opinion. This is a fact. The numbers are right there to go along with it as well. So I think that could be a little bit of it also. And like I said, I'm not looking to back the Pacers. I know you typically want to take the Pacers on the road as a dog. You want to take the Pacers in general as a dog. They don't really cover too much as favorites, but this is the spot that if I'm playing the game, I am taking the Houston Rockets. I think that 5.5 last night was the right side. I agree with the movement going up to 6.5. Just not sure of Jalen Green. I think it's pretty telling that Jalen Green is questionable and this line is still at 6.5. So we'll see how it goes. I didn't play this one quite yet, but I really wanted to get there last night. Let's see what the comments are saying about this one. I know I'm not going through like a lot of system. Well, I don't have a system on this game. I don't think I had a system on this game. But this was just kind of a spot that I think is pretty telling. I'm not messing with the Pacers right now, man. They got some stuff to prove to me. Houston, one of the better defensive teams in the league. They've held, I think, what is it? 13. No. So it was 11. It was 9 of 11. So I think it's 10 of 12 opponents under their team total as well. So I mean, the Houston defense is really, really good. They're second over the last 5 games in points allowed per 100 possessions. First in opponent effective field goal percentage. They're turning teams over at the 10th highest rate. Fourth, giving up the 4th fewest rebounds, giving up the 7th fewest free throws. The second best net rated team over the last 5 games are the Houston Rockets. I think that they can win this game. I think that they can cover this number as well. So yeah, it's only Pacers for me in this spot. I know I talk for a lot. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one. Brian says if you go to Italy, you got to stop betting on 76ers. Good one, Brian. I like that, man. I like that one. LJ says Rockets first half at home. If you know, you know. You like them boys to come out hot today. Rockets first half for Bryant. He says the same thing. DC Sean said they gotta win eventually. People don't bet like that though, DC Sean. People bet off what they've seen, and that, you know, sometimes it burns me too. I bet off what I saw yesterday. If I'm being honest, I bet off what I saw yesterday. I mean, I had a super strong trend to take that under yesterday, under 224.5 in the Memphis game against the Denver Nuggets. But people bet off what they see. People need to see it before. So nobody put their money on Denver yesterday. The bounce. Who's taking Denver without Jokic? And they absolutely smoked the Grizzlies. Hopefully I can get ahead of the curve and get some Philadelphia money. But I'm with you. That's how it goes. Jabba Dime says Pacers are just and he's an Indianapolis guy. So shout out to Jabba Dime. He loves the Pacers, loves the Fever, loves the Colts. He says Pacers are just missing too many bodies. But it's still a stay away for me. Pacers tend to win games that they shouldn't. Okay. Poop says Tyrese Halliburton is a fade for real. He's hard to watch. I think if I'm isolating the total, Brian, I'm probably looking at a team total under. I already talked about the numbers. Shout out to moneyballer.com. Encourage you guys to sign up. You can get all the trends over there for team totals, all that good stuff. The Pacers team total right now looks like Hard Rock has a 112.5. That's under 112.5. That's a minus 105. Everybody has a 112.5, but they got the least amount of juice. You can get a minus 110 on BetMGM if you're limited on Hard Rock or don't have access to Hard Rock. But it's consensus pretty much everywhere. Is you can get an under 112.5. The Rockets have not given up 112 points, but twice this season. I know it came against Oklahoma City, and I know it came against the Golden State Warriors. Every other team that they played so far has gone under their team total, Brian. So that would be the thing to take here. Alden says I already played Philly. He says it's definitely a sharp knife, but I think you're on the right side today. We'll see how it goes. Either it's going to, cause me more pain, or I might be able to celebrate a little bit. Mark says I think Houston controls the game as well, slows down the pace, and it goes under the 231. I would agree with that. I think so as well. I feel like the Pacers on the road so far have played more under games than over games. I feel like their over games have actually come at home. Let me see if I can put some numbers to that so I'm not talking out the side of my neck. Let's look at that real quick, Mark. Pacers are 4-4 against the number. So they're 4-4 against the number. 2 of the last 3 have actually stayed under the total. They just gave up 130 to the Raptors, but I think that more so had something to do with Miles Turner. Remember, if you guys been following the channel for a while, you know last year, I think it might have been Ronald Cobain. Shout out to my guy RC. I think Ronald mentioned it to me that Pacers games fly over the total without Miles Turner. They don't have another center, and we got to remember, their other two centers for the season already, they already done. Isaiah Jackson, tore his Achilles earlier this season. And I can't remember exactly who else it was, but if Moses Brown doesn't play, I think Mark is absolutely right here. Pacers are only averaging, their games are staying under by an average of 6.5 points per game on the road so far this season, even though they are 4-4. And they've actually only averaged 109 points per game on the road so far this season. So offense has not looked as good. What up, Corey? He says, just tuned in. He says, Rockets are nothing for me here. Here in Houston is dominant at home. Lay it. I agree with it. GLB says, I have low back. I have a bad lower back. And let me tell you, traveling sucks. Yeah, my back actually not that great either, if I'm being honest with you guys. I wake up every morning about 5 a.m. and I stretch, work out. And I always do a lower back stretch, but it doesn't affect me when I travel. So maybe mine's not that bad. Well, Reza says Pacers team total under a 4-game under, and I agree. All right, let's get over to another one. John says play Halliburton under. Note taken. Yeah. I mean, it's right there. The proof is in the pudding. It's right there in the tweet. I like trying to find stuff like this and share with you guys. So I'm not even sure what Hallie. Let's see what Tyrese Halliburton is at right now. Houston is a really good rebounding team. I would just probably look at his points, rebounds, and assists. Let's see what we can find a number for Tyrese Halliburton and see if it's under what we see on the screen right now. Shout out to John. Let's see if we can do this real quick. Move over to the next game. So Halliburton right now, 32.5 is his points, rebounds, and assists. It is juiced to the under. Unless you got Hard Rock. Hard Rock put all these weak lines out because they limit you. But yeah, minus 110 on Hard Rock, minus 115 on Bet365, and minus 113 on FanDuel. So FanDuel has the best number right now. Under 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists. You can see it in the tweet right here. He's averaging 12 points per game on the road. And I'm not sure what the full numbers are, but yeah, that's what Tyrese Halliburton is averaging on the road. His points prop today is, we're just looking at player points, are Ali is at you gotta be kidding me. They don't got Tyrese Halliburton listed? Oh no, I spelled it wrong. I'm like, okay. Tyrese Halliburton listed at 18.5 right now. 18.5 for Tyrese Halliburton. Minus 108 on Caesars is the best number that you can find right now. It just really be that simple. That's 6 points under this number right here. All right. James Wiseman was lost. Yeah, that's what it was, dropping down. And James Wiseman. So it's Isaiah Jackson and James Wiseman. That makes a difference, especially when Miles Turner. You probably don't want to rush him back because it's not like he's dealing with a injury that isn't a key one. He was listed out for that game on Monday. It was a right calf soreness. Like, you don't want to play around with your calf or any kind of lower leg injury. Not this early in the season. Not when you got championship aspirations. And I think the Pacers probably feel like they got championship aspirations based on what they did last season. I think that was a little bit of injury luck. But anyway, let's keep it moving. We talked about that game long enough. Next game we got up is the Bulls, another team that causes me a lot of pain. The Bulls and the Bucks. Lines at 8. I think this was at 8.5 last night. Let's see. Did I write this one down yesterday? Let me just double check real quick. Bulls, Bucks. Yeah, it was at 8.5. Total was at 238.5. Total actually come down a little bit to 237, which is interesting. But I was talking to my guy Prop yesterday, and he's a big Milwaukee Bucks fan, and he was saying that, defensively, the Bucks have been playing a little bit better. Like, don't look now, but the Bucks defense, that game with Houston the other day was a very slow paced game. I think they've gone up under the total in quite a few games. And the Bucks, don't look now, 6th defensively as far as points allowed per 100 possessions, only giving up about 108.6 over the last 5 games. They're number 2 in opponent effective field goal percentage, allowing teams to shoot just 49%. They're not forcing a lot of turnovers. They're giving up some offensive rebounds, but they're not fouling either. So this is a Bucks team that's kind of putting it together. I know some of that had to do with Dame missing all those games. We know that they're a lot better defensively when he's not on the floor. But Green, Jackson, those guys are defenders, and their offense isn't as great. So I think that they have been having to rely a little bit more on their defense. For Chicago, and let's go to the injury report real quick. I think I did see Patrick Williams pop up on the injury report. I think he's going to play, but let's just double check it. So Chicago, Patrick Williams is the only guy that's on the injury report outside of Lonzo Ball. But Patrick Williams is listed as questionable. He was dealing with some bilateral foot soreness. So I know he played in that game because I watched him absolutely kill be a part of the massacre that was of the Detroit Pistons the other day. But this is the third game in 4 nights for them. On the Bucks side, I think everybody is in outside of Chris Middleton, who I'm not sure if Chris Middleton gonna play basketball this season. What's the odds for Chris Middleton versus Lonzo Ball to touch the floor again for the first time? But anyway, third game in 4 nights for Chicago, 4th and 6th nights. They're coming off that upset win against the Detroit Pistons as 3-point dogs. Milwaukee, second straight home game. A potential look-ahead spot, like I kind of just talked about, because they do have the Pacers on deck. They lost to the Pacers last season in the playoffs, and I want to say that things got heated when it was Dame time, and Tyrese Halliburton did it in the in-season tournament. So that's a potential look-ahead spot. This Bucks team is just 4-9-1 against the spread, even though they did beat the Houston Rockets in their last game. So you can say that the Bucks are trending in the right direction. They didn't have to travel at all, but 8.5 is a tad bit too much for me. And the Bulls are going to be one of those teams that I don't think I'm going to bet on too much unless they're coming off like a 40-point loss like they were the other day, because I think that defensively it takes a lot out of them to play defense. They want to play fast. They want to shoot a ton of threes, and they're pretty much undersized, it feels like, at every position on the floor. They're not a great rebounding team. If the Bulls are coming off a win as a dog this season in the next game so far, they're 1-4 straight up, 2-3 against the spread. This was a spot that they lost to the Cavs against the other day. Just literally couldn't score the basketball in the last couple minutes of that game. And they also covered against the Cavs. They covered against the Cavs by 1.5 the game before that. But then they also lost to the Nets. So this is a very Jekyll and Hyde type team that just loves to play fast. I know I'm not going to bet this game, but if I am betting it, I am taking the points. I know it's a revenge game. The Bucks did lose to the Indiana Pacers. That game was on October 25th. The Bulls actually beat the Bucks. I think it was opening night in Milwaukee at Pfizer Forum. They beat them 133-122. That game went well up and over the total. 255 points scored in that game. Chicago has actually covered 4 of the last 5 meetings as well. So this is not just a conference game; it's a divisional game, and the Bulls typically play the Bucks pretty well. But I don't think I can get there with either team. I would want to put my money on the Bulls, though. I think this line coming down from 8.5 to 8. I see a 7.5 on BetMGM. I think that is the right side. As far as the total, I think it could be a sneaky under. I think the Bucks defense is looking a little bit better. Definitely not putting my money on the under in the middle of November when basketball doesn't mean anything. But I think it could be a little bit of an under spot because the Bucks are playing a little bit better defensively. I'm not playing it, but I would be taking the points if I was playing this game at all. Real quick, I wanted to look. So Chicago offensively last 5 games, not getting any offensive rebounds. They're third worst. They are 14th in points scored per 100 possessions. The defense is still atrocious. 27 in points scored per 100 possessions allowed. And they're forcing the fewest amount of turnovers. I can't. I know I'm not playing. I know I'm not laying points with the Bucks, but those are just my thoughts. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one. Then we'll do one more and get up out of here. Just kept burying threes. I'm talking about Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. I'm just like, man, this is supposed to be an under game. Malik says he agreed with Will Reza. Pacers team total under in that last game. He says 113 it's a little too high. I agree with that. Blunt says, I said it before, Chris. I'm gonna say it again. Bulls always play the Bucks, the Knicks, and the Cavs tough. 8 points, just too many here. I might take a shot on the money line here. Okay, I like the plus the points. I don't like the reason I don't like the money line as much, Blunt, is because they've already beaten the Bucks one time this season. The Bucks, I think, gonna remember that. and they beat them in their home gym. So you got to come with a little bit more of an effort in this game, in my opinion. I like I said, I like the points, but I didn't bet the Bulls today. Here says Bucks laying 8. My goodness, they did look better the other day though. Mark says he likes the over 237.5. He says run, no defense. LJ says Giannis typically dominates the division, and that's a fact. Bulls always play good in Milwaukee. Got to go with Vooch putting up 20. Yeah, Vooch to hit his what I think is over 1.5 threes is probably another good look. I know he absolutely tore Detroit up the other day. I don't even know how many threes he ended up hitting, but it was a lot. Trust me, I was on the Detroit and feeling like, man. And we know that the Bucks run a lot of drop coverage. They're gonna, try to put Brook Lopez in a lot of that action. Bobby Portis in a lot of that action. So I could get behind a Vucevic 3-point. Let's see, a Vucevic 3-point prop. I could definitely get behind that. Nikola Vucevic. Over 1.5 is -125. This was like plus 150 the other day. Shout out to Ski. I know Ski been cashing on this. Nikola Jokic over his 1.5 threes makes a lot of sense in my Nikola Vucevic over his 1.5 threes. I'm gonna actually write that down, put it on my short list. Over 1.5 threes. I'm pretty sure he cashed it over 2 in the game last week as well. And it's only 125 on one book right now. I see a -143 on the other book. So if you want Nikola Jokic, you probably want to get in early. Brian says Chicago +8 if they hitting those threes, they get out. They can win the game outright. He says he like White and Vucevic threes. Ben says this is actually a hard call. Number supports the Bucks, but laying 8 with the Bucks seems wrong. And I agree. That's too many. Malik says Dame is going to shoot lights out tonight. I wouldn't touch the Bulls +8. He said rather catch them live. I'm going to see how they shoot first. Yeah, it's all about, you can learn a lot from the Bulls in the first 5 minutes of the game. They were 7 for 9 from the 3-point line in the first 5 minutes of the game. And Coach JB Bickerstaff was like, time out, man. Time out. We got to do something different. They did nothing different the whole rest of the day, though. They just called the timeout. That's all they did. The Bulls kept hitting threes. He says the Bulls also got a Friday Cup game, so it could be a look-ahead spot for them. Okay. Brian says, he says, hey, Chris, are you going to talk about Dalton's performance last night at the 3-point line? Fun to watch. I mean, I can't make any money off of it, Brian, but yeah, shout out to Dalton Connect. I talked about it. I mentioned it at the beginning of the show. I think he had 37 last night. Yeah. Great night for Dalton Connect. I'm happy we drafted him. I know JJ Redick is probably, having wet dreams about the guy because, he drafted a shooter with his first pick, and he is a shooter. JJ Redick was a shooter, so pretty sure he's happy about that. As a Laker fan, I'm super happy. We probably should have covered, but I didn't bet the spread, so who cares? Lakers still undefeated in the cup play, 9-0, going all the way back to last season. Perfect 2-0 this season as well. Dropping Dime says he's playing Giddy up and over his 17.5. That makes a lot of sense. Points and assists here. Hot TV Grid says, what about the Bucks win margin 1-10? I could see that. I could see that. I do think that they win the game, but we'll see how it goes, especially with the Bucks having Giannis back. All right, last one, and we're gonna get up out of here. I think it's one more I want to talk about. Actually, 2 more I want to talk about, but I'm not gonna have time to get to both. So I'll go real quick through the other one. We'll go another game that I did bet though is the Orlando Magic and the LA Clippers. I thought this line was gonna move, and I put it in the chat last night. I thought that the total was gonna drop. I know it's a super low total. Opened at 207.5. It's down to 206.5. Injury report, super important in this one. Paolo Banchero is actually upgraded. So I saw him potentially listed as questionable. The website I'm looking at right now does not say that, but he could potentially make a return in this game. Wendell Carter Jr., I think, has also been upgraded to questionable. No, he's been coming off the foot injury. He has not played. I need him to continue to not to play because the Magic have been absolutely lights out without him. I'm not saying he's gonna hurt anything, but he's missed the last 8 games in a row. So we'll see what happens with the injury report on Orlando side. But the reason why I jumped in on the game is because the Clippers are without Norman Powell. This was a big injury. As soon as it came out last night, I jumped on. Initially, I jumped on the under. Then I also jumped on the Orlando Magic as well. So Norman Powell's been ruled out with a hamstring injury. If we just go through and look at the spot here real quickly, We got Orlando. That's won. They've won 6 straight games. They've covered every single game. This is the third best defensive rating team. Over matter of fact, it actually might have gotten better with the new updated numbers. The numbers that I had were for last night when I handicapped the game last night before I sent the play out. Real quickly. All right, so last 5 games, my fault. I said third. The Orlando Magic are the number 1 defensive team in the NBA. 98.2 points allowed per 100 possessions. Number 1 in the NBA. Number 2 in effective field goal percentage. Holding teams to 49%. They're forcing the 4th most turnovers, which is something the Clippers have struggled with. They're actually turning the ball over at the 9th highest rate over the last 5 games. The Orlando Magic are giving up the 6th fewest offensive rebounds, something that the Clippers don't do well. And Orlando Magic are the number 1 net rated team. They're winning by an average of 16.5 points over the last 5 games. So this is a spot where I think the Clippers absolutely, I think they struggle to score. This is already not a great offense. The Clippers' last 5 games, they are 25th in offensive efficiency, and on the full season at 24th. So offense has been sputtering right about where they have been throughout the season. This is an Orlando team. I mentioned they won 6 straight. Best defensive team in the NBA. This is the second of a 3-game road trip. They actually got the Lakers on deck tomorrow, so maybe the Lakers can get the job done against them. That'll be their 3rd game on the West Coast. This team has played 6 straight unders. That's how good their defense has been. They don't even really need to score that much. Just their defense. They went on the road. They beat Phoenix by 10 points as a 4.5-point favorite, which they opened as a 1.5-point dog on Sunday. And that was a bad spot for Phoenix. It was the first game back home and the second leg of a back-to-back, 5th game in 7 nights for the Phoenix Suns. On the Clippers side, 3rd game in 4 nights, 4th game in 6 nights. They have won back-to-back games and covered against the Utah Jazz on Sunday, and then they had the Golden State Warriors at home. They beat Golden State twice so far this season. This is the 3rd of a 4-game homestand. They got a big game coming up, a divisional game against the Sacramento Kings on Sunday. So, I did play Orlando in this spot. I think Orlando wins the game tonight. I think they get smoked tomorrow. Norman Powell being out was a lot of it, in my opinion, because I think the Clippers offense is going to struggle to score the basketball. I think they're going to turn the ball over a lot. When I was looking into it on cleaning the glass, the Clippers are they have an offensive efficiency of 114.4 with Norman Powell on the floor and just a 101.6 with him off the floor. So that's about 13 points scored fewer. 13 less points scored per 100 possessions without Norman Powell on the floor. I think Orlando can get the job done. I did play them on the money line last night. They moved to 2.5-point favorites. Sent it out to the members. I also played the under. A Clippers team total under, I think, makes a lot of sense. I think the number's like 103.5. But if you go through and I know that number's super low, but if you go through and look at just what the Magic have been doing recently, like I don't even think they've been giving up 103 points, which is why this total is so low. Last 5 games for Orlando, they gave up, real quick, they gave up 99 points to the Suns, 86 points to the 76ers, 90 points to the Pacers, 89 points to the Hornets. This is crazy. 94 points to the Wizards, 88 points to the Pelicans. So the last team to touch 100 points was actually the Pacers on November the 6th. So it's been 14 days, 2 full weeks, 7 full teams that have stayed under 103 points, 104 points, whatever that team total is for today. So like I said, 6 straight under, 6 straight wins, 6 straight covers. I'm on the Magic again today. I think they can get the job done against the Clippers. That's the cap. That is the cap on that game. Let's see. This seems like the fade the Magic spot. Maybe I didn't fade the Magic. I took the Magic. We'll see how it goes. Magic could lose this game by 20, and the game could fly up and over the total, and that'd just be my luck. But we'll see how it goes. Sturco says Magic first half -3 and full game -3. You can get a 2.5, I think, right now. I don't think it's moved up to 3. I feel like it was still at 2.5. Yeah, it's still 2.5 on most books. Let's see. Lingowick says we got to talk about New York basketball. I'll touch on it real quick in a second, Lingowick, and then I got to get off here. Clippers plus money on the spread seems fishy. It's all because of Norman Powell, in my opinion. Magic first half. Clippers at home +2, Brian says. What up to my guy AOD? Magic are a good play without Norman Powell, but the way the Magic struggle from 3, it's hard to look their way, but it's only Magic here, Chris. And I agree. I played it. I left some money on the table the other day. I should have probably just played the Magic versus the Suns. It was a terrible spot for the Suns, but I left the money on the table. We'll see how this game goes. I like the Magic in this spot. I think that they can slow down this Clippers offense. The Clippers offense doesn't scare me. And without knowing Powell, it really doesn't scare me. I know that the Clippers are also great defensively. I'm not thinking this is going to be easy, but I think put Jalen Suggs on James Harden, and who else beats you? Like the in my opinion, the Magic have the bigs to be able to bang with Zubac as well. So where's the offense going to come for the Clippers in my opinion? Jalen Suggs is a really good defender, and I think they can slow down, James Harden tonight. So we'll see how it goes. LJ says Harden assists and Zubac rebounds are a great parlay piece. He said they've been consistently cashing when you put them together. Jabba says, don't know if you talked about it, but I think it's a buy low spot on Embiid points. If I was called out for being lazy, I would definitely turn it up the next game. And I agree with that, Jabba. He did say after the game that he has to be a little bit more aggressive, but we'll see what happens with Maxey. It'll definitely affect his points prop as well. We'll see how that goes. I don't play King of the Court helping hands. A couple of my homeboys do. Like, they text me about King of the Court. I don't even really know too much about it. I think you got to get the player that's going to accumulate like the most stats or whatever. Like, it's almost like a points, rebounds, and assist thing, I think. I don't know that much about it. Don't play it as well. G421 says, what's good, Chris? Going to catch the live watch back. Give me the Magic. He says he likes Franz as well. Yeah, and I'm on the Magic as well. So just getting into a quick recap real quick. I actually didn't even write these down, but like I said, I like Payne. So I'm on Philly. I played him on the money line last night. I played the Clippers in Orlando under. That number has moved, but I mean, half a point. I thought it would move a little bit more. Orlando LAC, I played them under the 207, and I did play Orlando on the money line as well. So 3 official plays for me today. Get these on the screen so you guys can see them. And I do like strongly lean towards, if I was gonna make a couple more bets, the next one I would make would probably be I would play I can't get there with Chicago. I think I'm gonna chill on that. But I would play Chicago if I had to play that game. But I like Houston. Like I said, the line has moved from 5.5 to 6. I have not bet that one, but that's what I would play in that game. Real quick on the other games, because I know somebody asked about them. Specifically the Knicks game. So Knicks, that line was actually at 6.5 yesterday. The money's coming in on Phoenix to keep the game close. It's down to 5.5, down to 5. Total also looking like it's going up a little bit, 222.5. I see some 224.5. So for the Knicks, first game on the road after a 4-game homestand, third game in 4 nights, and the fourth game in 6 nights for the New York Knicks. They just beat the Wizards by 28 on Monday. They won 3 in a row. This is the first of at least a 4-game Western Conference road trip for the Knicks. And then on the opposite side, you got a Phoenix team that's really struggling right now. 5-5 straight up, 3-7 against the number in their last 10 games. They've lost 4 straight, 5 of their last 6. Second straight home game for them. And they have a big game coming up against the Lakers. But they don't play again until next Tuesday. That really stood out to me, and that's one of the reasons why it will be Phoenix or nothing in this spot. I know that the Knicks have been balling. I think Phoenix is going to really be motivated to keep this game close. It's not the greatest spot for them. Because they were 5th and 7 on Sunday, but they had a couple days of rest. And I just love playing teams that don't play for a super long time. They don't play again. Today is Wednesday. They don't play again until next Tuesday. Like they can give everything that they have in this spot. So if I'm playing that game, I do like Phoenix. I know that they're, a super short-handed, but I think that they're the right side, especially, kind of coming off a 4-game losing streak. And like I said, being 3-7 in their last 10 games. I'm not laying too many points with the Knicks on the road quite yet. So those are my quick thoughts on that game. I'm not sure if Bill's going to play. Let's see real quick. I think Nurkic, but I think McBride also already got ruled out as well. I think that's going to hurt. Nurkic is listed as game time decision. He's questionable for today. And then Bradley Beal is he's already been ruled out with a calf injury. You can never rely on Bradley Beal. Poor Devin Booker. But yeah, I think I'll be taking the points with the Suns in that game. I think that they should be able to keep it close, maybe even early before it gets too crazy. All right, so that's that one. Atlanta and Golden State. I felt like the number is right where it should be. Golden State minus 8.5 feels appropriate. The biggest thing for me in that game is is do we get Jalen Johnson? We cashed with Atlanta plus the 4.5, plus 4.5 the other day against the Sacramento Kings. Jalen Johnson missed that game. He's listed as questionable with a lower leg injury. I'm not sure if they're going to risk Jalen Johnson potentially getting hurt in this spot. You got Atlanta third game in 4 nights, third of a 4-game road trip as well, and the last game on the East Coast. I think they play against the Chicago Bulls coming up next, coming off the win against the Kings. Like I said, Golden State only they got 1 day's rest in this spot. Only their second game in their last 6 days, so they're much more rested in totality than this Atlanta Hawks team. They're coming off that 3-point loss against the Clippers the other day. Back-to-back non-covers because they also didn't cover against the Grizzlies. I think Looney is also in the injury report. Atlanta has actually won 6 of the last 10 head-to-head matchups. 5 of the last 6 as well have actually gone up and over the total, and 7 of the last 10. So maybe it's just an over spot. I think the total has taken a little bit of money up to 238.5. It's not a game that I'm probably going to bet. I do think that the line is about where it's supposed to be. When I was looking through my systems last night, though, I looked at home favorites that were laying 7 points or more, who were coming off a loss as a favorite, facing a team that was coming off a win as a dog. And they do cover about 56% of the time. And if it's a non-conference game, they cover at an even higher rate. I think it's 56 that jumped it up to about 58. And if you add that they're laying 8.5 points, which is where this line is right now, and you add that their opponent is playing their third straight road game, ends up being a really good trend for taking Golden State in this spot, thinking that Atlanta runs out of gas. Those home favorites are 35-18 against the spread, 66%. I think he's a Golden State spot, but I also think the number's appropriate, and I would wait on the status of Jalen Johnson. He means a lot for that team, in my opinion. So those are my quick thoughts there. Went over a little bit of time, but it is what it is, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in as always. Check the resources out. I just, had the top plays of the day up for myself. We'll see how it goes. Best of luck on all your action. Check the resources out if you guys are interested. I'll catch you in the next one, man. Enjoy. What is today? Enjoy your Wednesday. I'll catch you guys tomorrow on Thursday, same time, same place. I'm out.